I'm Debbie.
And I'm Alison.
And we're the Poltergals. Spooky. Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Alison.
And we're the Poltergals. Welcome back to another episode of the Poltergals. Hi guys, thank you for listening. We're here today and we're gonna record some episodes. And where are we at, Allison?
Undercroft.
We're in Undercroft. Yeah. Yay. So if you guys are tuning in on our YouTube at Rogue Media Network or at the Poltergals, on the YouTubes, you can see our beautiful little backdrop we have today. We got our little dead flowers. We got our spooky books, and everything in between. So it's gonna be great. And today we're talking about Leap Castle.
Yeah.
So all of you guys that want to be little froggies, we're having little frog vibes today.
Yeah.
I'm a little Irish frog. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Allison's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Listen, it's gonna be good. We're coming to you after the holiday. This will be coming out right after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
The week after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, this will be coming out the week right after Thanksgiving, guys.
This is literally a week after Black Friday. And yeah.
So this is December 2nd.
Yeah.
We are first Friday of December, y'all. We're counting down the days till Christmas.
Yeah. So
what would you like for Christmas this year, Allison?
Camera stuff.
Nice.
What would you want?
What I want for Christmas? My plumbing to be fixed. I don't know if you checked in last episode, but hopefully by now it's fixed. But you know what I would also like? I would like, I don't know. What do I want? More spooky books?
Ooh, yeah. That's another thing.
Get us some more spooky books. And we have spooky books on display. Also, tell us about books.
Shout out to Lone Pine Publishing.
Woo.
We've been kind of... Let me not have my phone over here blasting away. But yeah, Lone Pine Publishing. These are two of their books. It is Ghost Stories of the Civil War and Ghost Stories of Texas.
Ooh.
And there are many more that they have that we definitely plan on sharing.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is Terrifying Tales.
Yes. If you haven't tuned in, check out our Tuesday episodes. Allison's doing a great job over there recording our Terrifying Tales. And I did some, so...
Yes.
Keep an eye out, keep an ear out.
Which,
it'll be fun.
If you haven't, like Debbie said, seen last week's episode, you kind of briefed up of Debbie's life within the last week or so it's been a hot mess. It's been a hot mess. So I've decided just to, for now, take over Terrifying Tales until her life decides to settle down a little bit.
Never. It will never will ever in my life.
Just enough for her to be able to come over for me to come here to
I make
record
Allison come to me. Come to me.
Hey, that's fine. It gets me out of Rogue.
Yeah,
for a little
bit. I'm just like, just tell your boss you can come over and hang out with me.
I mean, to be fair,
and we're doing work.
To be fair, though, we have the same boss.
That's true.
So it's not like it's much of an issue here.
It's like, I know where you work and I know who your boss is. It's like, oh, I know where you work and I know who your boss is. Oh, okay.
It's like it's such a threat. Like, oh no.
So very fun.
So I've been doing Terrifying Tales, and hopefully by the next few weeks or so, hopefully Debbie can record a few of those.
And we'll be having some fun. Yeah.
I'll be there.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check them out. Tuesday, Terrifying Tales. Don't miss out. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Are you ready to leap into this episode?
Yeah. So like we said, Leap Castle. This is actually in Ireland. Yes. And so, of course, if you haven't noticed, it's a, castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we love our spooky castles.
So there are varied accounts as to when exactly the main tower / keep, depending on where you are and what you call it, was constructed. This was ranging anywhere from the 13th century to possibly even the late century.
Interesting.
It's believed that it's most likely around 1250 AD.
Wow, back in the day.
Yeah. So this is not so much.
So an oldie and a goodie.
Yeah. So it was built by the O'Bannon clan, which was originally called Liam Ubahana.
Ooh.
So if you speak Irish,
the O'Bannons.
Yeah. This was as the fertile land around the castle, which was associated with the Bannon clan or Leap of the O'Briens. O'Bannons? Sure.
I think it's O'Bannon.
O'Bannon. The O'Bannons were the secondary chieftains of the territory and were subject to the ruling of the Orquarl clan.
Sure.
There is evidence that it was constructed at the same site as another ancient stone structure, perhaps a ceremonial in nature, which, if we've learned anything...
us some Druids, some Celtic, some... I don't know. Well, Ireland's Druid, right? Druid culture.
You know, I really don't know. I don't much. If you live in Ireland and know about this, please email us, message us.
Yeah, about
anything.
Ancient ceremonial stone circles. We love that.
Because obviously we don't know much about that. And like we've said in previous episodes, we're trying not to be uncultured swines.
But we just are uncultured swine. Thank you, American public school system.
So this is our way to at least learn. So,
we're learning so much. And we learn so much together every week, which is why we do the podcast. As we say every week, we're here to learn with you guys.
Yeah, so... if you live there or know anything about this, please let us know. But it was a ceremonial place, and the area has been occupied consistently since at least the Iron Age, which is about 500 BCE.
Wow.
And possibly since the Neolithic.
That was like caveman times.
Yikes.
Back in the Neolithic period.
That's old.
Very old.
So the annals of the Four Masters record that the Earl of Kildred, Gerald Fitzgerald, tried unsuccessfully to seize the castle in 1513. 3 years later, he attacked the castle again and managed to partially demolish it.
What?
However, by 1557, the O'Carrolls had regained possession.
Maybe that's why it took so long. So maybe that's why they're like, we're not sure if it's between the 13th century or the 15th century, because it kept getting torn down and then they kept having to rebuild it.
I mean,
and also back then, they didn't have tools. They were power tools. So I'm sure it took them a long time to build stuff and make stuff.
Yeah, back then back
in the day,
that was their basically bombing system. Was once it got bombed, it was just well, crap. So the O'Carrolls regained, and following the death of Mulroney or Quarrel in 1532, family struggles plagued the O'Carroll clan. A fierce rivalry for the leadership erupted with...
I'm sorry, please forgive me.
Are you dying?
I think I am.
In your own place of...
I know, I'm going to die down here and haunt the Undercroft.
Please don't, there's too many ghosties already in here, and we don't need another one.
They're all around us. They're right next to you.
Can I just say that this is one of the probably creepiest places that...
Yeah, that's why we choose here to record, guys. This place is actually creepy. We're not just pulling your leg. Anybody that is not from Waco, but guys, it's spooky down here.
If you could see the other side of that camera,
we're staring into a black hole in the wall. So
what was that? Wasn't it the original furnace?
So yeah, that's the original. That's where the bread was baked. It was in the oven right in front of us.
Yeah. So that's literally.
If I see eyes in the black, I'm out of here.
I'm straight leaving my stuff here. I'm telling Mike to come get it.
Yeah, we're just never gonna come down here again. Anyway,
so there was a rivalry within the family. In a fight for power turned brother against brother. One of the brothers was even a priest. While he was holding mass for a group of his family in what is now called the Bloody Chapel, his rival brother burst into the chapel, plunged his sword into him, and fatally wounded him.
Oh my God.
The butchered priest fell across the altar and died in front of his own family.
I'm gagged.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, no cap. Like,
yeah.
wow.
This, like, talk about family feuds.
I know. We're
And-
coming right after Thanksgiving. Like,
Yeah.
I hope this did not happen on your Thanksgiving dinner table. That's all I'm going to say.
Like, let's just... We know that these next couple episodes are hopefully, like... a distraction of family.
Yeah, a distraction
But,
from the terrors your family puts you through.
Talk about family hatred and feuds to the max.
Family Feud, for real.
And this is not the one that Steve Harvey is hosting.
Steve Harvey has no say in this.
No. Because if he did, he'd be throwing that little cord in his hand and be like, I'm out.
Yeah. He was like, murder? Murdering your brother.
Yeah. He's like, name the top things that your family does at a Thanksgiving. Number one choice: killing your brother for your own family.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I could just imagine that, and that's what makes that even more hilarious. Alison, you're killing me right now.
I try, but
she tries killing me, but she doesn't actually kill me.
I just hope I kill you out of laughter.
Killing me out of laughter.
Yeah.
Putting me in stitches, but not literally.
Yes. Which,
save that for your brother.
Yeah. I mean, duh. Come on.
Don't you know? Anyway, so yeah.
So, in 1659, the castle passed by marriage into the ownership of the castle was passed down by marriage to the Darby family.
Ooh.
Notable members of whom, which include Vice Admiral George Darby, Admiral Sir Henry Darby, and John Nelson Darby, all of which means nothing to me because I really don't know any of them. But I'm sorry for those of you in Ireland.
Sorry, the Darbys. We don't care about the Darby clan.
Who,
the Darby group.
Again, American culture doesn't teach us about running people across the main floor.
I hope you guys heard those footsteps. They're really spooky.
So the Darbys, and during their tenure of one of Jonathan Charles Darby, was a seance was held in the castle by his wife, Mildred Darby, who is a writer of Gothic novels. This led to publicity about the castle and its ghosts. The central keep was later expanded with significant extensions, but in order to pay for these, rents were raised and much of the land accompanying the castle was sold.
Wow.
This is one of the theorized motivations for the burning of the castle during the Irish Civil War.
Peasant revolt. Yeah. Peasant revolt. Peasant revolt.
Right. And dude, that happened so much though. And this, oddly enough, as much as we make fun of it, did not happen in the 1800s. Dang. It happened in 1922.
Wow, that's almost sadder.
Yeah. So 1922, after its destruction, Mr. Darby obtained a reinstatement from Bucket and Metcalfe surveyors in Dublin that was issued in September of 1922. Confusingly, it gives the address as Leap Castle as Rescrie Tipperary. Sure, that's
Roskria Co. I don't know.
Yeah. So then in 1974, the now ruined castle was bought by Australian historian Peter, whose mother has been a Bannon. Bartlett together with builder Joe Sullivan carried out extensive restoration work on the castle up to the time of his death in 1989. Since 1991, the castle has been privately owned by the musician Sean Ryan and his wife Anne, who continued the restoration work. With so much dark history, it's not surprisingly that ghost tales were bound to arise. Many have reported experiencing anything from child to the now famous elemental, which will come into play. It's the O'Carroll's ruthless and murderous ways would probably be a good candidate, of course, as to what's going on with even the ghost of the Diaz, who is reported to still be at the Bloody Chapel in some of the rooms below. It wasn't until his death, and he wasn't the only death that happened,
More death. Death and death and more death.
Yes. The McCollum family, for instance, had been invited to a celebratory feast after defeating a mutual enemy clan. For whatever reason, though, the O'Corals decided to poison their guest during what should have been a victory celebration. The same fate happened to some of the O'Neill clan. So, yeah, there's some
poison themselves.
Yeah, so it's essentially one clan coming in to support or to celebrate a victory, and then
now that's a true crime.
Yeah, straight true crime to the max.
Straight. That's the truest crime I've ever heard.
Yes. And this is kind of where it becomes a little weird. In the 1920s, an obelete hidden behind a wall in the Bloody Chapel was discovered during renovations. It may show that the O'Corals had a hand in many more deaths. Skeletons impaled on spikes were found lying in the base of the obelete. Enough human remains were brought out to fill 3 carts. However, it was also said that that pocket watch from the mid-1800s was also found there. Ooh. So it may have not been just the O'Corals using the obelete. In the era of the Darbys, Captain Darby had amassed quite a bit of wealth, and legend has it that he hid treasures around the property. Eventually, the quote-unquote wild captain was arrested for treason and incarcerated in Dublin.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So look, he was a straight up pirate.
Yes.
He'd be stashing booty in the walls. And then he got arrested for treason.
Got caught, but I guess they never found it, obviously, since it was hidden.
A pirate after my own heart.
Yes. So during his imprisonment, he was driven insane and once released, tried to find his treasures only to have forgotten where he buried them.
Me too. Same. I put my keys down, gone.
Yes.
Don't know where they are. If I had treasures and I buried them, they'd be gone forever.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, well, I guess I don't have those anymore.
So it is said that his ghost is there. Continuing with the Darbys, when Jonathan and Mildred Darby took over Leap Castle, they were very intrigued with the legends and tales of their home and enjoyed dabbling in the occult like we mentioned before. Ooh. Of course, again, like we mentioned, seances, becoming sorted with occult novels and gothic stuff.
All that stuff, just gothic stuff.
Yeah, publicly stating that there were ghosts there, with the most famous, which we'll get into later, being the Element, which its appearance is said to have a decomposed face and comes with an equally rotting smell. Yes.
I know what a rotting smell smells like. I've smelled it my whole life.
So,
no, just kidding. These last couple weeks with my plumbing.
So there's kind of many questions as to what this could be. Maybe the Earl of Kildred placed it there to help them take care of the castle from the inside. There are many rumors about he was a man of magic, or possibly it could have been some of the O'Cornells, or possibly Mildred Darby could have possibly even summoned this elemental.
Ooh, from doing all those seances.
Yes. And so that's kind of where the history ends before we get too much into the hauntings.
First, we got to take a
commercial break. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Spooky.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything. And basically, I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, this is Sarah,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and
vinyl.
So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
And now, back to the show. Spooky. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back. I hope you guys heard some good commercials. And now it's time to get into the hauntings.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned, this place is very haunted, and lots of murders have happened here, and lots of terrible things. So, obviously, there's gonna be ghosts, and some we already mentioned. So, I'm just gonna kind of go by different stories that are gonna be told. We're gonna go line by line, and I hope you guys enjoy some of the ghosty stories we have today.
Yeah.
All right, Allison, let's get into it. So we're starting at the priest's house. So remember, the priest that got murdered by his brother. Super sad. Remember, don't murder your brother at the Thanksgiving dinner table. So at the priest's house, there are shadows that have been seen wandering in the priest's house. The priest's house has been an empty shell since burning back in 1922. A burly man has been seen pushing a heavy barrel up the stairs, and then when he gets to the top, the barrel rolls down, and the man and the barrel disappear altogether. So he'd be playing Donkey Kong for eternity. But yeah, so that's kind of a little
Poor
spooky. Some shadows over in the priest's house.
Yeah.
And he was just like, what am I doing with this barrel? I'm just trying to bring it up these stairs for all of eternity.
Hey.
And that's not good.
Donkey Kong
He's
is
playing-
one hard game to beat.
It's true. It's true. Isn't there like literally tournaments still to like beat the Donkey Kong
I'm
world
pretty
record?
I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy. Well, now on to the next location. We're gonna be talking about the murder hole, and by that I mean the murder hole room. You heard me correctly.
Yes.
A murder hole. Get in my murder hole. We're actually underground right now, so it's kind of funny because sometimes I do call Undercroft my murder hole.
Which it's quite literally just a giant hole.
Get in my basement. But yeah, so the murder hole is also the murder hole room. Is also called the muckle hole room. I don't know what a muckle hole is, but I kind of like murder hole more than
Murder
muckle
hole
hole.
Sounds like so much darker.
Muckle hole sounds inappropriate. Like, don't touch me in my muckle hole.
Please don't ever put those words together again.
Anyway, disgusting. But anyway, the reason why this is called the murder hole room is because there is, in fact, a blood stain. So there's a blood stain on the floor of the room, and it's said to be that of a man who was stabbed to death, again, by his brother. What is up with brothers stabbing brothers?
I don't know.
I hope my brother doesn't stab me. Like,
maybe it's just
what?
it's not brotherly love because
It's brotherly hate.
if my brother loved me so much that he'd feel the need to kill me, I don't want that much
Well,
love.
it's saying that the brothers were quarreling over like ownership of the castle, and that's why he murdered him. So
basically,
he really did
the priest,
say, yeah,
the priest and the brother,
he really-
essentially.
I think it probably is the same story, all one and the same. But you know, this one he's saying that he was murdered in the muckle hole, in the murder hole. He was like, "Hey, bro, there's like a weird smell coming from this closet. Can you get in here for a minute?" He was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on in this hole." And he's just like, "Shink, shink, shink, shink,
Shouldn't
shink."
every sibling know that if somebody says, "Hey, go smell this in this room," not to, like after you, like, "Hey,
After
go
you
smell
get
this,"
in there.
like, I'd be like, no, you go first. You gotta lead the way.
You gotta lead the way. So listen, this holiday season, if your brother tells you to go smell something, don't do it.
Be sure they go first.
Make sure they go first into the room,
And if you
make sure
do-
they don't have pointy objects on them.
Be sure you take a pointy object with you.
You should like metal detect them at the doorway. But anyway, so yeah, so that's the murder hole.
Or if you do, take your own and be
Yeah.
sure that the tips touch.
Tips? No, don't touch tips with your brother. That sounds
No, the
inappropriate.
tips of the swords or the knife.
Allison, no.
That's a safe. If you both have a pointed object, be
You're
sure
supposed
that
to touch tips.
if it's a knife
I've
and a
never
knife,
heard this in my
if it's
life.
a knife and a knife, be sure the tips touch because you know where the tip is.
What? I've never heard this in my life. If
Oh,
this
good,
is-
because I just made it up.
Oh, good. I was going to say, this is something I have never heard, and I am concerned right now for not only my safety, but specifically for your safety. But anyway, so that is the story of the murder hole.
Here's your little stupidity for the day.
Yeah, but now we're going to get into something even sadder. So now we're going to be talking about the red lady, not the white lady, not
Thank
the woman in
God.
white, not the white witch, the red lady.
Not
This
the-
is what
not
I'm
the
talking
white
about.
witch that was dabbling in black magic.
No.
Oh, good.
We were talking about the red lady. So the red lady has been encountered by many people too. The story goes the red lady is the ghost of a woman who was captured and raped by the
course.
O'Carrolls, or O'Carrolls, however you pronounce it. It's said that she got pregnant resulting from that rape. The hard R word. The O'Carrolls then killed the baby, and in despair, she then killed herself. The red lady has been seen carrying a dagger in her hand and raising it menacingly, as if she's wanting to stab somebody.
Yikes.
She was trying to touch tips.
See? It's a thing. Even back in the 1800s.
And then she was like, I got my dagger. I want to touch tips with somebody. I'm so sad. No, I'm just kidding, guys.
That's such a dark story,
This is
but
a terrible, dark story.
I mean, still.
And it's
Yikes.
pretty sad.
Yikes.
So yeah, there's the story of the red lady. So maybe you will see a woman brandishing a knife who's distraught. Distraught, I tell you.
And if you see the dagger, be sure you show her yours too.
Yep. Touch the tip. Touch tips. Now, on to the story of the young girl, little Sally. We get a Sally story.
We get two of them.
Two
Sallys.
Two Sallys. Oh my gosh. All right. So there are actually two young girls that have been seen and heard playing at the Leap Castle. Castle visitors often see them playing in the hall and running up and down the stairs. They are called Emily and Charlotte. So they have names.
They have names. How nice.
They're not just little Sallys. They're Emily and Charlotte.
How nice.
I love those names. Those are so cute. I love the name Emily. That's adorable. Anyway, so Emily is said to have died at age 11 when she actually fell from the battlements.
Oh.
Many have seen her ghost falling from the castle and then disappearing right before she hits the ground. Listen, man, this is why they have this is why we have railing. This is why we have ADA. This is why we have compliances now.
Yeah.
This is why buildings have to be safe, so children just stop falling off of high walls.
Wait, that's why buildings have to be safe?
Yeah, Allison, people used to just fall all the time.
Oh,
Think about how many stories we've heard of just people falling down the stairs, getting blasted out of windows, falling out of windows, jumping out of windows, falling off of castles. Like,
I mean, I
the
think
list goes on.
That's going to happen kind of regardless.
I think so. I mean, but listen, this is why you need to watch your children and you need to make sure there's a safe railing. And that's sad. So that's saying that is the story of Emily. And then they say that Charlotte has been seen dragging her deformed legs behind her.
That's sad.
So that's very sad. So that is the story of Emily and the story of Charlotte. And hopefully next time, if you ever do go to this castle, you bring some toys and you go play with our little ghosts. You know what we say? If there's any little children ghosts, just go and have some fun. Go take care of them. Go play with them. Go play on the stairs with them. But don't fall down the stairs while playing with them. That's not good advice at all. So I guess now we're going to talk about it.
Talking about it.
We're talking about it right now. Not like it, like the clown, but like it. So numerous people were actually imprisoned and executed in the castle. Again, remember, this was a castle of death upon death upon death. And it's said that this is one of the reasons why the castle is in fact haunted. What do we know about places where people are tortured?
It's haunted.
It's haunted.
Always.
Wow. It's not that hard to put 2 and 2 together to equal haunted.
Wait, you're supposed to put 2 and 2 together?
To make haunted.
Oh, I thought if you put 2 and 2 together, if you count the corners, it's 4.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
But in our case, no.
But in our case, no. So one of the most terrifying beings which reside in the castle is simply called It. It is a small creature about the size of a sheep, but has a decaying face. This is what you were talking about earlier. I don't like it. It is said that when it appears, it is accompanied by the smell of sulfur and the smell of a decaying corpse.
Yuck.
Ugh. I just can't even imagine. That sounds terrifying. And if I ever did see that, I would probably poop my pants and leave. I would be like, nope, I'm out.
You're gonna need more than
bye.
You're gonna need a plumber for more than just your house.
I know. I mean, listen, it's rough.
Yikes.
It's rough out here. But yeah, so that is the story of It. Remember, not the clown, not Stephen King. Get out of here. We're talking about It. And then finally, the story you guys have probably been waiting for. The story of the elemental.
Dude, and these have such a big reputation, especially here in America with Native Americans. Because Native Americans, for those that that's what they kind of summon is elementals. So
Interesting.
I'm kind of interested to see how that happens in
Ireland. So the elementals are believed to occur mainly in the countryside. And so basically they have attached themselves to a particular place. So again, these are beings in a way, but like are attached to places rather than attached to people. So we've talked about in the past, like some spirits get attached to places, some spirits get attached to people. Well, this is more of like a being attached to a place. So, when the castle's ownership was transferred to the Darbys, Mildred Darby, as we mentioned, dabbled in the occult. As, you know, it was fashionable back in the day. Like, they used to hold, like, seance parties and, like, be like, everybody come over, this person's talking to my dead husband. And so that was, you know, again, very popular. And it was widely believed that Mildred's dabbling in the occult is actually what resulted in the awakening of this elemental. Mildred Darby even wrote about her frightened ordeal back in 1909. Oh. She was standing in the gallery when she felt somebody put a hand on her shoulder. When she looked, she saw a thing about the size of a sheep with a gaunt and human face. It was, in fact, it. It has black cavities for the eyes, and it has the smell of the decomposing corpse. The Darbys still remained in the castle up until 1922.
Yikes.
Even with it roaming around. That's terrifying.
That's weird, though. Like
so spooky. Again, if I saw this thing, I would literally poop my pants.
It's still, like, crazy to think that, like, even though they had it separated into two different things, if it could possibly be both. Like, the elemental and it could be the same.
The same. Who knows? Spooky little sheepy ghost elementals with inhuman, nasty, gross faces with stinky smells.
Gross.
That sounds like my cousin. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my!
I'm joking.
So,
I really have that.
I want to watch your back, otherwise you're gonna get stabbed across your Thanksgiving table.
I know. I hope not. But yeah, so that's all for the hauntings for this episode. I would say this one was pretty spooky. Had a lot of murder in it. Had a lot of creepy things. A lot of death, killing, crimes against humanity. So yeah, that was all for this week, and I thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah. Be sure to tune in to our Terrifying Tale episodes
on Tuesdays.
Find us at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, The Poltergals. Also Patreon, which is patreon.com/polterpals. Yeah, we need to get better at posting bonus stuff, but hey, it's there.
There's a lot of content on there.
There's a baby ghost, there's a teen ghost, and then
a sexy ghost. But yeah, so check us out, and then don't forget to go follow us at Rogue Media Network on YouTube, and then also at the Poltergals on the YouTube arenas.
Yeah, and then if you have any ghost stories yourself or things that you've heard, please let us know. You can email us, DM us, comment, whatever, and we will be glad to share that.
Yeah, we will share your stories with the world.
Yes.
You can email us at thepoltergals@gmail.com.
Yes. And if you know of a publishing company or work for one, like these lovely books up here, we'll showcase your book. We'd love to read from them. If you have stuff, if you own stuff that's been published and you would like for it to get out there, let us know. And we'd love to shout you out and whatever you've written.
Yeah. And thank you guys again for tuning in. That's all for this week on The Poltergals. Bye. Bye! You've been listening to The Poltergals,
a Rogue Media Network podcast.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.